For those that do not personally know me, I am a huge Resident Evil fan. Since I was a child playing Resident Evil with my sister since the original game, Resident Evil 1, bro. Then 2 came out, 3, and the Holy Grail. The Holy Grail of 4. And yes, I played the GameCube version. It was the superior version. I don't give a fuck. Literally played every single game from 1 all the way to Village. Not even like some of the spin-off games like Code Veronica and Revelations 1 and 2. And we do not mention Resident Evil 6, bro. We do not mention that fucking game. That shit was ass, and I'ma die on that hill. Despite its faults, I did like some aspects of it. I kind of did like the individual stories and then how they all kind of come together. All some kind of like Avengers type shit. But a few days ago, Capcom did have their Resident Evil 9 Requiem showcasing, showing gameplay of Grace and gameplay of Leon. And they kind of break down as far as their approach on this game compared to Resident Evil 4 remake, compared to RE7 and RE8. And I kind of just want to make this video to kind of give my opinions about what they shown, and also the things that I like and the things that I do have questions for or maybe slight concerns about. So in the showcase, the devs gives a little more details about Grace and Leon. For those that don't know who Grace is, she is the new protagonist in Resident Evil 9 Requiem. She is also the daughter of Alyssa Ashcroft, who was in Resident Evil Outbreak. And then of course we all know the badass Leon. Your boy needs to retire soon. He getting up there in age, man. My boy is tired. But it looks like we seem to be going back into Raccoon City and potentially becoming across a new threat of some kind, some new strand of the virus. And while we don't know too much about Grace and why she's investigating things regarding Umbrella, it's going to be very interesting seeing how they tie the Outbreak series with the numbered sequel. So they showed some gameplay of both of them, and the gameplay differences are actually pretty cool, because when it comes to playing with Grace, it seems like when handling a handgun, her hand kind of shakes, showing that she's scared, she's timid, she's not very experienced in this field compared to the other person we'll be playing as, who is Leon. And it seems to be like her gameplay and her part of the story is going to be a little more slow paced, a little more methodical, a little more traditional survivor horror. And they're kind of taking aspects from what they did with Resident Evil 7 when they introduced Ethan, who was also somebody that was inexperienced to this world. And then of course we have the main homie Leon Kennedy, who is just mopping the floor with zombies as usual. Stylish shots, kicking, stomping faces in, the whole shebang bang. So I want to talk about 3 details about Resident Evil Requiem that stood out to me the most, and then I'm going to talk about the kind of concerning things that I have. So the first one being the combat itself. We have the traditional shoot zombies and limbs, certain body parts, headshots, of course, but they are putting a twist on the combat that isn't just strictly using your knife as a melee weapon or your pistol or machine gun as your only arsenal. Because based off this encounter with a zombie with a chainsaw with Leon, it looks like he picks up the chainsaw either after shooting it out the zombie's hand or after the zombie was killed, and he was able to pick it up and use it for his own. Something that honestly I don't remember ever happening in a Resident Evil game, just picking up whatever a zombie is wielding and then using it against. That is something I definitely find very cool, and I would like to see what other things that we'll be able to use other than chainsaws. Maybe a zombie wielding an axe or lead pipe or anything of that matter. That is something I want to dive in more to see how crazy this combat system can go. The second thing that really has me intrigued about Resident Evil 9, crafting system now, where you can actually take the blood of infected and mix it into this injector where you can stab the zombies and it prevents them from mutating, and you can use it as like a stealth weapon to take them out silently. I kind of want to dive more into that and see what kind of concoctions we can make with the infected blood, use it for like bullets or something like that. And yeah, I just find that very, very cool. And I want to see what more they do with this whole injector and taking vials of the infected's blood and using it basically against them. For the third thing that I find really intriguing about basically the world that they're building within Resident Evil 9 now, not necessarily about combat or, you know, crafting, but to have to do with the zombies themselves. Because in some shots, you can actually see tear streaks or tears building up in the zombies' eyes. And from what the devs are telling us is that apparently these zombies retain the memories of their past life before they got infected. So for example, if there was an infected or a zombie that used to be a maid or a janitor or something like that, you might see them sweeping the floor, mopping the floor or something like that before, you know, you interact with them or before they see you, which is kind of cool because it kind of humanizes them in a way. And the fact that they are, you know, crying as you're attacking them or they're attacking you is like they are conscious to what they're doing, but they obviously have no control. Or they could be crying because it's like, I used to have this life I used to live. I had friends, I've had family, and all of a sudden that was all taken away from me. And now it kind of just resurfaces only in tears, really. So that aspect of it I found really, really cool. I'm really interested in seeing what type of things the zombies will be doing since they retain memories of their past life. I just want to observe and see what they're doing before I have to inevitably take their life. Very, very cool detail to me. Now, those are really just the three main things that I found very interesting as far as what they've shown us. It's number one, it's the combat. Number two, the blood of the infected and how we can use it as weaponry, basically. And third, the infected basically doing random things throughout the world because they used to be human at one point. Now, the one thing that I'm kind of concerned about, and this right here is important because this was also an issue in Resident Evil 6. And what would that be, you might ask? Pacing was a huge issue in Resident Evil 6. They had us playing 6 different characters throughout the whole story, bruh. We had Pierce, we had Leon, we had Ada, we had Jake, we had Sherry, we had Chris. Bro, too many characters. And of course, they all had their own unique play styles, their own new abilities, their own new kit, all different weapons. But still, it made the story very messy. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe you basically selected what character you wanted to play a story as, and you run through the whole story as that character, and then you move on to the next one. It made it feel very redundant on why we're playing with so many characters, and we just eventually see them all meet up at some point during the story, have their interactions, have their conflicts, have their problems, again, off some big Avengers type shit. But you got us playing all these different characters, and some more likable than others, some play styles likable than others. It wasn't great. It really took me out of the story. So by us only playing as 2 different characters, one being a new character, one being somebody we all know and love, I got a feeling that they might do a thing where they're going to at some point switch off between characters in different chapters. I don't think they're going to go with the route where you play with one character throughout the whole entire story and then you move on to the other character and you see their perspective. And if they're going with the route where, okay, we play 2 chapters with Grace, oh, we play 1 or 2 or 3 chapters with Leon, oh, they meet up at some point, and then, you know, switching back and forth, the pacing has to be there. It cannot take me out of the story, especially since they have 2 different play styles. Now, Resident Evil 6 was kind of different. Everybody you played as was basically a badass. But with Grace being the more survival horror aspect and then Leon being the more action-packed aspect, I don't want to get sucked out of, you know, something very scary happening, then we go straight back to action, and then we go into action, and then we get sucked out, and then it's back to something scary. They gotta find the balance, and I feel like they are confident enough to, as much as they've shown, I feel like they are very confident in this game. Like I said, I am a huge fan. I am hype. I'm purchasing that shit day one. And of course, they got the deluxe edition. You know, you get a bunch of goodies, you get some charms, you get some skins, you get some character skins. I feel like I'm gonna end up just getting the deluxe edition because I'm a huge fan, but I'm gonna probably just play the first run of the game with their original outfits, because I feel like if I put on, you know, Leon in a fucking suit and put Grace in Lady D's outfit, I feel like it's gonna take me out of the story, and I'm not going to take it that seriously. So I think that is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do my first playthrough as intended, as is, and then next playthrough after that or whatever, you know, throw on some wild outfits for shits and giggles. And I didn't touch on this point, but I know there was a part in the show where they were kind of doing some heavy advertisement, I might say. They're doing a collaboration with Porsche where Leon is whipping this fucking Porsche coupe or whatever. And then they had this whole watch segment, a watch that nobody's gonna fucking afford, bruh, because all you motherfuckers are broke. Shout out to the homie, the Black Hokage, because y'all PS4 niggas can't afford this shit. You can't afford that watch. You can't afford that Porsche. Y'all can barely afford the game. Y'all don't even got PS5s yet, man. Hey, shout out to Black Hokage, bro. But yeah, that's my little rant about Resident Evil 9. The game comes out next month. Almost exactly a month and like 4 days or so. Super hyped, super ready, trying to see where the story goes from here, and just probably gotta wait another 6+ years till we get another Resident Evil game. But yeah, if you enjoyed today's video, be sure to leave a like, be sure to leave a comment, let me know down below. Are you guys excited for Resident Evil 9? Or you're gonna miss it? Or are you gonna play it? Or are you gonna watch somebody play it? Either or. Yeah, I will catch you guys in another video. Peace.